Welcome back. It was a year ago today, during an already difficult period in Afghanistan, that an ISIS suicide bomber targeted and killed desperate Afghans trying to flee the country at Kabul airport's Abbey Gate. 13 U.S. service members who were trying to assist those Afghans into leaving were killed, along with hundreds of Afghan civilians. These U.S. troops gave their lives as part of a mission to help evacuate hundreds of thousands of Afghans in the largest non-combatant evacuation in American history. In a statement marking the grim anniversary, President Biden remembered those service members, saying, quote, "Our nation will forever mourn their sacrifice and honor the memory of those 13 precious souls stolen from their families, loved ones, brothers, and sisters in arms far too soon." In total, 2,461 U.S. military personnel died in America's longest war. Earlier this week, I spoke with General Frank McKenzie. He led troops in Afghanistan and oversaw the U.S. withdrawal. I began by asking him for his thoughts on that Abbey Gate attack 1 year later.
So the wound is still very real, as it is for the many other U.S. servicemen and women who died in the 20 years before in Afghanistan. But this one particularly, since it was so very near the end, you always look back. You always try to find a way that, could we have prevented it? I think we did a lot of things to try to reduce the frequency of the ISIS attacks. This is one that we were not able to prevent despite our best efforts. And I don't know that we could have, given that we were there to actually process and bring people onto the airfield and get them on airplanes and fly them out. And that required interaction with people at the gate and to bring them through.
And I got to ask you, General, today's Afghanistan, is it really any different than 1978 Afghanistan or 1995 Afghanistan?
I don't think it is. I think what we're seeing is the deconstruction of a society at the hands of the Taliban. I think they're returning to, and I've said this before, a medieval period. I don't think things are good. I think it's going to be a long, hard winter there. The Taliban are finding that it's a lot easier to be in opposition and in revolution than to actually govern. And some of the decisions they're making are not making it any easier for the international community to help them, however much the international community would like to.
So I asked the question that way because 20 years of our time in the country, what did America get out of this?
So we went into Afghanistan to prevent further attacks on our country, and we did do that while we were there. The cost was very high for that, and I would never want to minimize that. But we were able to prevent those attacks from occurring. I think if I were going to characterize what happened to us in Afghanistan, we began to gradually adopt a broader vision for what we wanted to do in Afghanistan than just the very narrow mission of counterterrorism operations against then Al-Qaeda, then ultimately ISIS. And we began to engage in nation-building operations, and maybe some of that was necessary in the narrowest sense to protect our interests. But the broader things that we did probably ultimately in the long term did not help us. They diffused our effort, and I don't know that Afghanistan is governable or sustainable with a Western model. I think Afghanistan is governable and sustainable from an Afghan model, but we paid too little attention to the Afghan realities on the ground, attempted to impose our own vision and our own view of reality on them, and I think that was hubris on our part, not only our part, but on the rest of the international community, and we've paid richly for that mistake.
Morale in the military after Afghanistan, does that concern you?
It does not. I think it's pretty good. I think people that serve, they know what they accomplished on the ground. And the Joint Force, I believe, has a lot to be proud of in the withdrawal from Afghanistan. It's been a heavily politicized event, which is regrettable. But the young men and women that went in there, that manned those gates, that stood there and processed people that were coming through, I think that's really the largeness and the magnificence of the American spirit in action. And I think we have much to be proud of our young men and women that were on the ground. So no, I'm not worried about that at all.
How about our Afghan allies? Are you concerned that they'll turn on us someday if we don't get them out and help them?
I think we have a moral obligation to get them out. I know we're trying to work that. I know it's a very slow process, and I bitterly regret how that happened, and I think about them every day.
Well, the expression that feels like it haunts our Afghanistan policy is the Taliban has the time and we have the watches.
If the insurgent knows you want to leave, then that gives them that priceless thing, hope and a vision for the future. It also deflates the side of the government that you're on, trying to help and defend. So it is uniquely damaging to us. It is uniquely damaging to our Afghan allies, and it is uniquely empowering to the Taliban. So it is the absolute perfect storm of failure.
So ultimately, who owns this failure? Four administrations? I mean, is this one of those cases, we're a society that it's all McNamara's fault, right, with Vietnam. And I say this, it's not all McNamara. But you get where I'm going here. This feels like a policy that has a mistaken policy that has fingerprints on both sides of the aisle.
You're absolutely right. And the domain that I know a little bit more about, certainly there are military failures that contributed to what happened in Afghanistan. There are also diplomatic failures that contributed to what happened in Afghanistan. And so it wasn't the general's failure completely. It wasn't the State Department's failure completely, or any individual administrations completely. What I would tell you, though, it was a trajectory and an accretion of errors over time that brought us to this point. We were never able to effectively employ a whole of nation approach in Afghanistan because, as you noted, we were divided on that. We could never determine. And when Afghanistan fell, it was not a military failure. It was the failure of a government, of a nation. And when a nation fails, and there's a supporting nation, it would be us. It was a national failure on our level, not just a purely military failure and not just a purely diplomatic failure.
Let me ask you, part of our Afghanistan strategy has always been hampered by our on-again, off-again trust with Pakistan. It feels like unless Pakistan's all in on helping here, we're never going to get Afghanistan right. So is in that sense, is there sort of this is why it's almost impossible for us to fix this situation?
Well, from the beginning, the Taliban and other VEOs had safe haven in Pakistan. We were never able to resolve that over the 2 decades of conflict in Afghanistan. We were never able to come to an agreement with Pakistan about dealing with that. And the reason that's the case is the Pakistanis never believed that we would stay. They always thought that we would leave. And that underpinned every time they sat down and talked to us. And I've talked to chiefs of army staff many times in Pakistan and other leaders as the CENTCOM commander and before in other jobs. And you know what? They were right. We left.
Why do you think it was so hard? You wanted to keep some troops in Afghanistan, 2,500. Why do you think it was so hard to convince the political leadership that that was the right thing to do?
I think there was unanimity between 2 successive administrations, the Trump administration and the Biden administration, which are very unlike in almost every way.
I know,
but they shared a single unit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, except really on this policy. Yeah.
On this one thing, they shared a unanimity of purpose, and I think that's what allowed it to continue. Both presidents wanted out, and so in the case as has been articulated, it ended a long and bloody war. I understand that. It makes it very hard to argue against that position. But my response would be, well, we don't yet know how this is going to turn out, and so I would withhold judgment a little bit on what happens in Afghanistan. And we predicted that bad things would happen in Afghanistan. I think bad things are probably going to happen in Afghanistan. Ultimately, things that threaten us. And so let's just wait and see how this plays out. I think it's still too early to come to judgment on that.
So what you're saying is, do you think it's likely that the U.S. military ends up back in Afghanistan in the next decade?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I do know that I think it's likely that we are going to be threatened by violent extremist organizations that are being protected and have space to flourish in Afghanistan, and that will pose some very difficult questions for future national leadership.
The Taliban's hold on power is somewhat tenuous. It may be stronger than what the Afghan government had previously, but it seems tenuous. How likely is that going to be a country that devolves back into a hot civil war?
So you're right. Their hold is not complete. They're faced with struggles from ISIS, which is pretty effective attacking them. They're also have other groups, splinters within the Taliban, the Northern Alliance, the remnants of the old Northern Alliance that are very much operating against them. So I don't think it's a certain thing that the Taliban is going to survive. I don't know that it will look much different in terms of what happens on the ground in Afghanistan from what is important to us, the ability of VEOs to gather strength and attack us, whether the Taliban controls it or it devolves into some kind of semi-feudal, patchwork of tribal allegiances.
General McKenzie, really appreciate it.
Thanks so much. You have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.